Hey, Millstone, it's a little late, but I just wanted to address a couple things. So, I was noticing in the spam text messages that Natalie Biello has been sending out, she makes a bunch of claims about, like, our students test lower and all that, and that might be true. I'm not arguing that. If that's true, first of all, I haven't, I'll give you the complete honest truth. I haven't checked that claim that she made in her text message. But what I want to say is, um, you have to look at the reality of some of the times when people claim certain things. All right, so her claim is that students are testing low, basically elect her, and it's all going to change. And that really is such a silly concept and thing to believe, as though, as though electing her, all of a sudden, all that's going to get fixed. You know what? Is she going to be in there with all the classes looking and in every student's class? No, she's not going to do anything directly to raise classes. Well, all that is a front. It is a platitudinous image, basically, to present to the voters, because it does. I mean, what parent would say, "Hey, our students' grades are down? Well, we don't like that. We want them to be." Of course, every parent's going to be for that. She is being disingenuous as to her motivation. Of course, every candidate is going to want our students' grades to uh, improve, as though the other. What that's another thing. What are you implying, that the other guys, they want the kids' students to go down or something like that? That's ridiculous. You know. So first of all, you have to look at the totality of the claim and how much merit or it's worth. In this case, her claims really aren't worth. She could say all that she wants, but she's not going to single-handedly be able to change any of that. Just like nobody would be able to single-handedly change any of that. And also, I think that a bit of the problem is she is trying to say, hey, look, students' grades are down. It's because of these other guys. Ignoring the fact that there was a pandemic that, like, globally affected kids' grades. So, once again, you have to look at the totality of the claim, and you have to really back up. It's like when I saw somebody claim they were talking about the mayoral race, and they were saying that the one guy, he wants to and raise taxes and all this other stuff, which is, like, ridiculous and stupid, as though one person alone could say, I'm going to raise the taxes. Think about it for a second. It's not possible. That's not how it works. A mayor can't just say, I'm gonna raise taxes, and everybody says, okay, mayor," like, as though there weren't, like, first of all, that didn't happen. I want to be very clear. First of all, the mayor did not raise taxes. So let's just get that out of the way. Did taxes go up? Yes, I'm not disputing that. But I am fighting the claim that that is directly the fault of the mayor or any one elected individual, because that's kind of, think about it for a second. No one elected individual has the power. I mean, I'm talking about, like, more of our local stuff. They don't have any power to do anything single-handedly. The other claim is that, oh, our taxes went up because they gave these guys over here If my neighbor is paying double taxes what I am, my taxes aren't going to go down. It's a ridiculous claim. It doesn't work like that. You, sometimes you people, you have to step back for a minute and look at the totality of the claim, because anybody who's basically single-handedly saying it's this one person's fault it's just a ridiculous claim that you basically have to dismiss, because that's just not how things work. So anyway, keep that in mind, not only for like the mayoral race, but also for these BOE races too. No one candidate has the authority, legally or morally, to single-handedly change anything. Okay? So really, what are we talking about? So basically, all of those, like all the stuff that Biello is saying in her mass spam text messages, it's all meaningless platitudes. Oh, I want our kids' grades up. Well, we all want that. You know what I mean? That's like saying, oh, I want every kid to have a meal. But yeah, I want that too. Like, who in the right mind would be against that? It's a meaningless platitude. You have to realize that her motivation is not the things that she puts in those emails. Her motivation is, don't take it from me, go and look at the things that just go to Google and type in her name and see some of the stuff that comes up. Don't take my word for it. I keep urging you guys, don't take my word for it. Go and look for yourselves, because I don't need to speak for like Natalie or anybody else. I'm sure that if you were to bring up like comments that she was quoted in, I forget the publication, but she was quoted in a publication saying certain things. I'm sure that if you were to ask her about the things that she said, that she was quoted as saying, I'm sure that she would stand by those issues. It's up to you to decide whether that's the kind of person that you want in control of your children or not. This isn't about my opinion, it's about your opinion. I'm urging you just to go and see the kinds of things that she thinks. Now, the things that she's claiming, she cannot single-handedly change. However, knowing her political leanings, you can know how she's going to vote on every single issue that comes down to try to usher in her political ideas. I know it's a nonpartisan position, that's true, but you have to realize the BOE might be nonpartisan, but people are partisan. And you have to realize that, I'm getting messages from people that I didn't get along with in the past, who I would identify as not lining up with me politically, concerned about Biello because she's so radical. So that's really what we're dealing with. It's up to you guys to decide whether you want, and this is the only, let me put it this way, what I'm about to say, there's only one part of it that Miss Biello might disagree with, but it's up to you to decide whether you want a radical leftist on your BOE. Now, she might argue with the fact that she's radical. That's why I want you guys to go, guys and girls, folks, town people, I want you all to go out and look for yourself and see what she has to say. You might agree with her. Chances are in this town, the climate of this town, you probably won't agree with most of what she has to say when it comes down to her actual politics. Now, as far as like the stuff that she's claiming, like, we want our kids to have better grades, all the teachers are for that. And not teachers, all the candidates are for that, or for our students getting better grades. Who wouldn't want our students to be the best of the best? But basically, the people who are on the board currently, even some of them who I don't agree with and maybe have even gone after in the past, agree that the best way for our children to succeed is by pushing academics. Now, with Miss Biello, her goal is not to push academics. Her idea of a well-rounded education is to teach things in the schools which we would consider to be radical ideology. Most people would consider to be radical ideology. That's where the line is. So you really have to look at these people's motivations, because actually most of the board, even people I don't agree with, are actually pretty moderate. You know, you could talk to all these people yourself. I'm sure that most of them would be willing to answer your questions directly if you asked them. So respectfully, you ask them. You know, they're public figures. Find out a means to contact them respectfully and ask your questions, and you can do that. Um, but also part of the another thing I wanted to address is the Board of Education meet and greet with the candidates tonight. Just like always, I get messages. I've gotten messages. People don't like that format. They don't like the fact that you have to write your questions down and then the moderator might ask it. So I am going to try to arrange a meet and greet. Now, there might already be something in the works. I don't know if I'm going to join that so we can make like one overall larger meet and greet, or whether I'm going to host my own. To be determined, I'll let you all know as soon as I know. But I will say it right now, if and when it happens, if it's any choice of mine, and I'll let this out there right now, I would like to host a meet and greet that is not the way I host meet and greets. Is you have an hour or so to mingle with so the candidates can mingle with the voters. You can ask your questions directly, and then we start a Q&A section. That's the way that when I do these meet and greets, that's the way that I do it. Now, I would like to extend this invitation. Now, I'm sure that everybody will probably see this, and we'll all be in touch and we can arrange something. But no matter which side you're on, even Miss Biello, I would like to host an event. If it's, like I said, if I have anything to say about it, what I would like to do is host an event where voters can come up and ask their questions of the candidates. And if need be, the candidates can give their answers, and then, maybe the voters can ask their follow-up questions or whatever it may be. That's what I would like to see. So hopefully we could get something like that going, and I'm extending the invitation to Miss Biello. Now, Miss Biello, to address you directly, I wouldn't blame you if you thought that maybe I wouldn't be fair to you during such an event. So, what I would like to offer is, if you are not comfortable with me being a fair moderator, which I'm telling everybody I really would like to be. I really like to be a fair moderator, and I don't want any kind of screaming and yelling and name calling or gotcha questions or anything like that. I don't want to host an event like that. What I would like to do is host an event where everybody's respectful and asks their questions, even if they might be uncomfortable questions. At least they're able to ask them, and if you don't want to answer them, just say, I'm not comfortable answering that question right now. At least be honest. That's all I want, is to have an open and honest Q&A session. So, Ms. Biello, if you are willing to do that, then I am more than willing to host it. If you do not trust me to be fair to you, which should be disappointing if you don't think I would at least offer you the opportunity to be fair. I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. But if you do think that I wouldn't be fair to you, then obviously I would like to host the event and be a moderator. But if you would like a co-moderator to moderate on your behalf, somebody of your choosing, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm more than willing to make accommodations so all of the candidates feel comfortable and safe. I would like to have a nice event where maybe, we get food brought in and something so everybody can relax, have a nice time, and generally just ask the candidates what they think about certain issues that pertain to them. That's the thing about when you write the questions down and you give them to the moderator is now deciding what they think is an important question. What the moderator thinks is an important question isn't necessarily what the parents or the voters might think is an important question. So that's why I like doing a more open-ended meet and greet. When I will, obviously there will be restrictions where, obviously we can't let one person get up and rant there for 10, 15 minutes. But obviously, if a voter has a question, he should be able to ask it of the candidate or candidates in which they so choose. Uh, that candidate or candidates then deserve the opportunity to respond. And then if there's any follow-up questions, the voter, I believe, should be able to ask any follow-up questions to clarify. And then within reason, pretty much, because we do want to keep things moving. We can't let one person take up the entire night. After, basically question, answer, uh, clarifications, follow-up questions, answer. Then we're going to move on to the next person who wants to ask a question. That's what I would like to see. I would like to do it maybe somewhere like the community center, or maybe if one of the local businesses would like to host the event and maybe donate some food or beverages for the voters in attendance, that would be great. I will provide, like always, my PA and whatever other equipment that we need. I think it is important to have a PA because even like right now, my throat is getting a little sore just from it's been 16 minutes already. My throat's already getting a little sore, and really having that amplification really does help when you're talking at length, because I hosted one of these events one year and I had the PA, but I didn't use it for about the first half hour, and I was hoarse after about the first half hour. So it's always good to have a PA so people can hear, and also so if people want to record, and I'll also probably live stream the event if I can get a decent internet connection. If not, then I will record it and upload it later. But I think that is the best way to do these sorts of events, because it allows for a more in-depth analysis to the positions of the candidates. So anyway, I guess consider this the official extension of my invitation anyway for a meet and greet to all of the candidates. I've basically outlined the rules for you. I'm going to moderate. If we need a co-moderator to make everybody feel comfortable, I'll allow it. I will not tolerate any sort of name calling or any sort of aggressive behavior or gotcha moments. It's not why I want to host this kind of event. I want to host it because I have had a flood of messages of people asking me if I was going to host an event again this year, because they want to be able to ask the candidates their questions directly. So I guess consider this my part. I will reach out to the candidates all individually to make sure that they know, or at least in some way reach out to the candidates they know, that I am extending the invitation, and it is with the best intentions. And I hope that everybody, no matter what side you're on, would trust me on that. I know that in the past, I have been a little bit more inflammatory, and I really have been trying to do better this year. I don't know if people have taken notice, or whether some people just don't care. But I am really trying this year to not be so inflammatory. I'm just trying to put the information out there and really let you all decide for yourselves. Now, obviously, I am basically an op-ed writer, so anything I write is obviously going to be heavily laden with my opinions. Take that for what it's worth. Obviously, if you respect me, it'll probably be worth quite a bit. If you don't respect me, it probably won't be worth nothing, and that's fine. That's your choice to make. But please don't attribute motives to me that are anything other than how I mean them. I do all this, and I do Millstone Township News I don't make a penny doing it, often to my detriment, because then after I speak my mind, I have to deal with the crazy people who want to fight me, or vandalize my home, or come to my work or get me fired and all this other stuff simply for speaking my mind, which is why this year I really am trying to be better in the way that I conduct myself. And I really am trying, and I hope that people see that. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully there will be another event hosted soon for the candidates that has a Q&A session, whether it's hosted by me alone, which I still can do. If it's me alone, though, I'm not sure exactly which of the candidates are going to be interested in showing up. Because really, I would like to do an event where everybody shows up. I don't want to exclude anybody or just have it like, oh, this is like the meet and greet for like my little side. You know, not my side, but you know what I'm saying, you know, for this little group or that little group. You know, I want it to be everybody because a lot of people were dissatisfied with the way that tonight's Meet the Candidates went. People don't like that format because they feel like that the questions that mean the most to them are never going to get asked because, once again, it's up to the moderators to decide which questions actually end up getting asked. So let's cut this short because it's already been 21 minutes. So let's consider this the official extension of an invitation from me, at least, to be a fair and balanced moderator of both sides. I will coordinate with those concerned and see whether we want to do a combined event or whether I should do my own or what. We'll let everybody know soon in the future. But anyway, just really, like I keep stressing to everybody, please don't take my word for any of this. You can look up, I'm sure, all of these candidates. Just do a name search. Just literally type their name into Google and see what comes up. See if what comes up aligns with what you believe or if it doesn't align with what you believe. Or maybe nothing at all will come up. And if nothing at all comes up, I would say that that's probably better than something negative coming up, right? But either way, do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. Don't take the candidate's word for it in these prepared sort of statements. Take the candidate's word for it when they are talking to you directly or answering your questions about specific issues. Don't fall for these platitudinous, flowery statements that really end up meaning nothing, because that's really what it is. They're statements that mean nothing. Look for the substantive answers. Like there's a priest I had when I was a bit younger. Father Paul Wickens, God rest his soul. He always used to say, you know, they might have all this fancy dressing, but where's the meat and the potatoes? That's what we're looking for. Where's the meat and the potatoes? You can dress up all these platitudes as much as you want, but they're meaningless without the main core of the issue. And that's what I'm getting at. So make sure you get the meat and the potatoes out of these people that you're voting for. Don't take my word for it. Ask them or look it up and see what historically their opinions are, if they're available. Anyway, I'll get back to y'all. It's late. I'm tired. I got to get to sleep. I have a busy day tomorrow. God bless everybody and have a great day. God bless the country and God bless this great town.